Hello. I'm not yet fully well, right? But we cannot delay too much these lectures because the end of the year is coming soon. So we need to keep working on these. So today I'm not planning to make this super long, but I just want to give you some basics before we jump into very interesting AI models. So the basics would be regarding the processing of tabular data. Because most of the data nowadays, the structured data is tabular. So before we start, let's check in the YouTube chat that you can hear me well, and maybe hopefully my network connection holds. If my network connection drops out, please let me know. So you can drop a like if you want at some moment, if you actually, so I know if the content resonates with you, if any problems, any misunderstandings, just write those things in the chat. So can you hear me well and see? So plus minus if some network connections or something, please let me know in the chat, and then we'll start. Again, sorry for a little bit of cough. I'll try not to cough too much. Okay, great. I see some pluses. Okay, good. The homework was actually about those presentations, but as I'm not in the person now, it is quite complicated, right, for me to, so it will be better. I will just, let's check the presentations when I meet any of the groups in person. So that's one. But today I just want to go briefly through the main points of cleaning up your tabular data sets and how to display them in order to use it in your research. So most of you are in the university, so that means you will have thesis and you will have some research work that you will need to present. Your data will be set up in a way that, like, let's say some survey, some measurements for library speed, any things like that, you will need to format that correctly so you don't mislead yourself and others. So that's also very useful, what we will talk about today. Also in the business settings, there's many cases where to make the right business decisions, you need to clean up your data. And especially for AI models. I mentioned you the first lecture that AI models nowadays can structure data for you. It is true, but the precision is not super high. Basically, if you will leave all of the data structuring to the combination of some kind of RAG language model, zero-shot, deep metric learning models, it will be about like maximally like 80% accurate. You can make it more accurate by making the system more structured and specific, but it is not done by prompt engineering or things like that. And so that's why you still need to know what is possible. And my goal today is just to give you the hints what is possible and how data need to be cleaned up. In order to do that, I highly recommend that you open your paid ChatGPT version, because I will show you how nowadays with the paid ChatGPT you can do huge amount of data processing yourself without much knowledge, if you know what's possible. If you don't know what's possible, then it will not be much use of you, except you can ask, of course, the ChatGPT how to clean up your data, but still it's better if somebody can explain you how to do this. And also you can use the Google spreadsheets or Excel. But to do this in Excel, it is more controlled, but at the same time much more painful. So just to verify if I'm the only one with ChatGPT paid version, let's add here some poll. So do you have ChatGPT paid version? So please answer the poll. I get the poll in the in the YouTube live stream. So the idea is that the free version does not give you the option to upload Excel files, spreadsheets, and so on, which is the key for making sure that you can process data. So and actually there's many reasons why you need paid version. So at least maybe if not today, then slowly, step by step, you will see that there is no way forward nowadays rather than buying this paid version. So either you do everything super hard way and will lose like many hours, or you buy ChatGPT paid version. Basically, not many other options. So, and this is not only about what I'm going to show you today, but there's many cases. So I'm really surprised. It's like it says like only 7% have a paid version. So most of you are not using the advantages and doing everything in a hard way. Yeah, if anyone have the reasons why they don't subscribe to paid version, you can type in the chat. Would be interesting to hear, but you will see why this is good. Okay, so let's start by adding in the Moodle. So again, those of you who jumped from the mathematical course to the business course, you don't need to keep doing the mathematical homeworks. Minus to that is that I would not probably want to lead your bachelor's master's thesis, because my focus is more on the fundamental mathematical part. But the advantage is that this will be easier, more practical maybe to your daily life, and the homeworks also will be much easier. So and I will just give the same marks to the appropriate courses. As you know, there is a chaotic situation with all of these RTU courses. Also, the good news is that one of my AI teams will be working with RTU to fix up the courses. Basically, the team will basically find the duplicate courses, the kind of contradictory courses, and we will clean this up till the next year for sure. So I will add the assignment for today. So for today, I just want to give you the opportunity to work with one data set, a real data set. So this will be the car price data set. Sorry for a cough. So this will be like, like those of you coming from the other course, we looked at used car data sets, right? And this is just one of these variants. This will be structuring dataset based on instructions. Scraped tabular data. I will show you step by step how this looks like and what are the steps to make sure that your data is usable by AI or presentable in any kind of business situation. So if you just take any tabular data like your sales, like the car price dataset or property price dataset, it is totally not okay to just use the raw dataset for any kind of data-driven decisions. You need to clean it up, and this is what I want to show you today and tell you what are your options to clean this up. So what I want you to do, if you go to so the 2.2 in the Moodle, and I will just drop this also here in the whiteboard so you know where to look. You can download the zip file, which contains about 2 MB of CSV file, and then I have actually some tasks to do. I don't think for sure that all of them can be easily done with ChatGPT Pro version alone, but if you like do this step by step carefully, it might be possible. I know for sure that all of these can be done easily with the Excel or Google spreadsheet. So please get that dataset and I will show you how to use it. So if you press File, Import into your Google spreadsheet, let me just for a while, so I just don't want to share everything that I have on the screen. Okay, let me, so just a second, let me press import and switch to the upload stuff. Okay, great. So you should be here, file, import, upload. Okay, so and now I will just take the car dataset, so it's 2 MB. Okay, now it says replace spreadsheet, import, convert to text, number, data. Yeah, by the way, if you have any comments, questions so far, definitely ask. Happy to assist with you. This course is not that mathematical. It is more about, oh, does the university provide free license, right? So so my way out of this is this. So the university does not provide free ChatGPT. This is not also a requirement for this course. Like you can do everything the super hard way using manual Excel and spreadsheet functions. But I will show you reason why you would like to get yourself the license. But university basically do not provide this, and I buy myself also the ChatGPT license. So that's that. But regardless of that, I just want to show you the situation. So this is the data set. So we have ID column, we have price. Maybe I can make it larger. We actually have, I think, lots of rows. Even don't see where I see how many rows we have, but it should be like many thousands, like 20,000 rows about. So these are cars like Lexus, Chevrolet, Honda. The production years, the price, I think this is in euro. Then production, what is the engine, the mileage, the cylinders, and so on. And how this would actually work. So normally for any kind of AI model, what you want to do, you have a couple of steps, and we will go through these steps today. We'll not go super deep in those steps, but these steps are important to understand. This is also very important for you to understand as a business people here, that you need to prepare your business data or your research data in a particular way. If you're not prepared your data in correct way, you will never get good results in any model. So sometimes, as I say, with the smart data scientists, you could get about like maximum those 80% human terms accuracy on things, precision. But like if you do it yourself for research or for business use cases, you definitely need to go through these steps to clean it up. So what I mean here, so first of all, you need to make sure that all of your data is complete. So in this case, we already see that there's many data points which are missing. Like for example here, we're missing the some of the, what it is, like I'm not sure about even what is levy meant here. So there's missing parts here. Maybe we can, I think this is some kind of price difference or something like that. So that is that. Wait a second. So that is missing, and the way how to fill this, normally you have a couple of options. Either to delete all of the rows where you have missing data, that is one option, or you make the median or average value in those places. So that's something we could fix, and I will try to actually fix this using also the ChatGPT. Let me see. So also how we could work with this, I will show you later in a second also some of the diagrams that we can use to identify problems. So if I sort by, yeah, so the price, you already see there's also very strange data points regarding price here. And if I sort this thing, and by the way, you can do this along me or later, or just observe, ask questions, and make sure you understand this process, how to clean up dataset. Okay, so I have a list of things I want to do. So first, okay, let's start by first handling. Let's write this. Will be the first step for our data processing journey. So this will be handling dirty data and feature engineering. What it means feature. So actually there are a couple of terms that is useful for us to know in terms of data science, and this is useful for any business situation as well. And this right now we're just looking at tabular data, right? But we will soon look at the images, audio, and so on. Let me share the full screen here so you see my annotations. So here, these guys, like each of the car samples themselves, these are called samples, right? And these columns, these are called features. This is like terms in data science, basically. Features. So first, you definitely want to get rid of the missing pieces in your data. You also want to make sure that you use meaningful features, because what I mean by meaningful features, so for example, the ID number. So if I want to predict my target variable, my target feature, for example, price, this is what I want to predict based on the inputs. So this will be, let's say, target. And so I want to predict the price of the car based on all of the information regarding my attributes. This could be very useful, for example, for dropshipping cases where I want to predict what would need to be the price for item so I can make a profit or so on. So if I use all of these other features, these are my input features, inputs, okay? Then inputs usually are everything else except the target. In this case, you see that it would be also input the ID. So an ID is for sure something that I don't want to have as an input, because it doesn't make sense. What is the price of this Honda, for example, based on the ID of my sample? Like, what was the advertisement ID for this particular car, and what is the correlation with its price? It doesn't make sense at all. But where it makes a lot of sense is what is the correlation of my car price with regards to mileage. For example, how old are the car, right? How many kilometers it has driven. What is the brand of the car? What is the year of the car, right? Does it have, like, what kind of engine it has? All of these are very good features, but this one, the first one, very bad feature. So you need to use a little bit of your expert knowledge, so you don't, even if you're not sure if something is usable or not usable, you try out. You try to remove this, you try to add this back and see what are the results. So this would be the feature engineering and the handling of the dirty data. We will explore this more. I will try to do this step by step also in the ChatGPT, and you could do the same actually in the Excel or the Google Sheets. So again, the reason why we're doing all of this is twofold. One, you need to learn how to handle your data correctly for your business cases and for your research. This is very, very valuable. And the second is for the next lectures where we will go in deeper into AI models, I don't want to feed AI model data which will just produce bad results because I didn't invest any time of fixing it. So how this would be very cool how to do this in the ChatGPT. So let's see. So first of all, in the just simple Excel, so we can start by just deleting some columns. That is like a really dummy thing. We, delete the ID column. I will go in a second also look what were actually my original tasks. I'm now a little bit improvising. So then also here to calculate these missing parts here. So how to do that? Okay, I will do this. If I do this in Excel, this will be really painful, and then I will show you how to do this in ChatGPT, and hopefully you will see why you need to buy it. So on the left side, if you add it here, normally in Excel you would do this way. So we have levy cleaned. So you have a cleaned version of this, and I would then start writing formulas. And the good thing is, of course, you can ask AI some kind of Perplexity or GPT search how to write the formula, but you will see this is really not great way to do this. So basically, if statement, and hopefully I will write it correctly myself because I usually do programming. I don't do the if statements in the Excel every day. So it says the logical expression first, and then the answer in true and answer in false. So this will be, so this, if this guy equals empty, then I want to have and I actually will show you one more interesting thing. Then I want to have average value of this whole column, except I hope that it will skip my header. If it is not empty, I want to use the same value. So enter, and it gives me error, probably because of that middle part. We'll see if that's the case. If you want to do this, you're welcome to do this. I'm just trying to do this myself now. So okay, maybe I need to just have one. Okay, it doesn't like, maybe it doesn't like these, my right, it is like this. So with the third try, I got it. So this is the formula. And if I try to extend it, you see I get the values nicely filled. And then I would, after I do this, I would then convert this back to the hard-coded values, right? So they would not depend on the previous column, and then I would delete the previous column. So that would be the standard way how to do the missing values manually. So let me copy out this part and put this formula for you on the whiteboard if somebody wants to try this out. Any questions so far, please write them into the chat, or advice. Maybe some of you are really experts with Excel and Google Sheets. Maybe you know some ways how to do this easier, but the main idea today is just to show these methods, not to really dig for very long inside data itself. You will have opportunity to clean up a little bit data basically in a homework, but again, this is nothing complicated. So now in the ChatGPT, how you would do this. Sometimes some things are easier in the Excel. No tool is perfect. Like for example, deleting column, that was pretty easy in the Excel. So I think, what is the column name? ID. The computer is a little bit slow now. Yeah, ID. So how you would do this with ChatGPT? Let me show you. So and I will explain actually how this works, because and we will at some point talk a lot about ChatGPT and prompt engineering, because the prompt engineering is nothing magical. There is lots of logical ways how to write prompts. I would say 99% of the ChatGPT users don't understand how to write prompts correctly, and this is the way. This is not like experimentation. It's actually methodical way how to do this. So but let me show you. So you would ask some commands what you want to do with your data. So remove column ID. And why did I remove that column? Because I looked at it that this is not sensical to use that column for my AI model prediction or for my research and so on. So remove column, and key here is always try to do your things in a separate new session. Basically, don't try to do many queries in the GPT repeated afterwards, because you will see the quality goes exponentially down. So remove column ID, and I write it here. And what happens now is that it will generate Python code. Those of you who know programming, because we have some people who jumped from programming course, this is great thing, because you can learn how to use all sorts of Python libraries and so on. But those of you who don't know how to program, you actually don't need to look at this at all, and it just removes some of the data. So one thing to keep in mind when you work with these AI tools, you always want to ask just one short thing at a time. Never ask multiple things to do with ChatGPT. If you do that, you'll end up only with the bad results. So even if it works once, it is not consistent. So then you would write download Excel or CSV. CSV is the format which I used, which is also openable by Excel and Google Spreadsheets. But so I would write download this new file which I just created. Then I would download this file, and then I could start a new session basically and upload this file again and do the next modification. One thing I can do, I can ask some extra modifications here, but the thing is, it has limits. As soon as you will start asking too many modifications, at one moment it will start hallucinate and make wrong things in your files and so on. Unfortunately, that's the case for all of the language model type of systems. The one thing which you already noticed here, and this is something that will be repeated many times when we talk with different models, the language models are not magical at all. What they can do, they can convert what I asked here in natural language into symbolic language programming code and then execute on my my data. So that is actually a very powerful feature. It actually works like a Google Translate. Basically, it translates my human language into programming code, executes it, and then gives back me the results. So that is the best way how to use language models. To try to think that language models are like magical, that they are actually intellectual, this is a little bit of mistake actually. There is the other model up here, which is this. Okay, it says it doesn't like support attachments, but O1, which has the higher IQ than average human, this actually works on like really well on these symbolic languages, but it doesn't yet support files. So okay, so let's do the next thing. So what I did previously with Excel, right, filling the missing values. So let's see. So the okay, let's write. So fill cell values for column column levy with average value of column levy. And you see, I also use these quotes, and we will definitely talk more about prompt engineering, but the quotes and the way how you write your prompt is kind of important. So the levy, average value of column levy, so fill the call for column levy where value is minus, like that. And I hope it will write the correct code. We'll see. Okay, so it's actually giving me two codes. Sometimes it do that. So fill NA, it seems really good. The other one seems really strange. So I prefer this one. Okay, good. So then display. Actually, it's always good idea to download after every step. Just download CSV, because it's really easy to mess it up using these models. So then I can again download it, and then display as table. It will probably not display all of the values. If you have questions so far, write them in the chat. So yeah, you see, I got the same result here with maybe just one prompt. I didn't need to write these complicated formulas, make a new columns, and so on. So that's why I really think that the GPT-4o type of models, which convert your natural language commands into symbolic Python code, which you even don't need to understand that Python code. It's actually a really good way to do these things. Please don't try to talk with these models like human, right? Because it's actually, if you will start asking their hello, how are you doing? Like, could you make it more beautiful? So on, it will end up with really bad results. You kind of need to understand what you need to do. Basically, I want to have average values filled in there and there, so on, so that's that. So we can do better. We can do more interesting things here with your data. Oh, I see also some questions. I will go back to the questions in a second. So not only I need to fill my missing features, I need to also think about them. Either maybe I need to sometimes drop them. I can ask here to drop missing features. It is kind of easy. So just a second, in my room, I don't have air right now. Or I need also to validate that my results are actually good enough. So how can I validate it? So there is different ways how to plot your data. So let me see. Okay, let's try to cover as much of these data processing ideas as we can. We will probably not cover everything, but hopefully you will have insight of how this works. So not every data point is good data point. We already saw that. So if I now order by the price, you see we have some cars with price of €1, for example, or €20. This is definitely a mistake. Like you should use your own brain. Like it is not good idea to feed model with just like noisy data, which is useless. So what we can do here, we can let's say plot histogram. So you need to know a couple of names. Maybe I can even drop that also here. And by the way, I just realized that I did not post many of these methods which I show you. Maybe I will post a couple of these prompts also inside Whiteboard, so you can try them out later yourself. And there will be different visualizations. So will be different visualizations of data, which will be very useful for you when you will do your research, business analytics, and so on. So plot means draw me a diagram, but plot is the, so just again, for the prompt engineering part, you always want to have the first word, the verb, like the Darbības, and then the second is some kind of what you want to do with that, and so on. So plot histogram for column price. And we can also define, okay, let's see what happens with that. Then also, please notice here that there is this new globe here, search on the web. So this is really cool. It actually, if you use that one, then it will give you the web results better than Google, for sure, 100%. So I myself have not used Google for a very long time. If you want to save time and not use Google, you use this one. So, but this is something new. They added the search GPT function just a few weeks ago. The thing is, why I'm telling about this is, if you will accidentally click this on, this will not work what I'm showing you here. Another thing is that please never use ChatGPT without this function as your search engine, because it is definitely not a search engine if you not enable this function. If you will ask questions in the free version of ChatGPT, you will get very bad answers. Probably that's one of the or acceptable answers, but which are not precise. If you use this one, you will get precise answers. Basically, you can do lots of work very quickly. So the plot histogram for column price. Okay, why do I need that? So let's see. So this is still in the terms of this first step. So where is the handling dirty data, feature engineering? So we're still at this step, but I want to show you about these ways how to see. So first of all, if I plot this here, I already see something very bad happening here. So all of my, so what are histograms? Histograms are just these bar charts where you have on the x-axis some kind of values, and the y-axis you have how many samples I have of that value. So distribution of car prices, and for some reason many of the cars are very close to the zero price, so this is really not good. And how this plot appeared, if I see here, it again generated me the code. And maybe it is not clear what this 0.5 and so on means. The E-7 means the not E7, it means that this is like this means just basically the 10 in order of 7. So basically it means like this 1.5 multiplied by 10 of 7, like that. So in reality it means so it will be 7 zeros there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me tell you what is the number here. So this is, there's some probably not euros, but basically this would be, in this case, would be 15 million something price. Maybe that's different currency, but still the currency cannot be zero or something like that. So that's that. What else I can do here? And I will show you just in a second how to do the same thing in Excel, and you will see that this is much harder to do this in Excel, but you still need to do all of these steps to make sure that your data is clean. So plot histogram for the column price, and actually in the ChatGPT you have this function to edit things, so you can go back for column price. I will do something maybe that's contradictory to what I said before. Sometimes you can try to do multiple things at once. The best way would be actually to split this out in 2 steps, but we'll try if this works. So plot histogram for price, drop outliners 10% of the outliners. Outliners, you will see maybe a little bit later. These means some data points which are outside of normal distribution. So we'll see if this helps. Let's see what it generates. Okay, now it looks better. So see in the top part. So if you know these kind of options that you have for data visualization, data processing, you can use them and basically clean up your data and make sure that basically you have high quality results. So here already we can see that unfortunately this is not interactive, but we can see that the range of which the data seems usable, it's up to 40,000 probably euros. Maybe there's these very large millions of, maybe there are some Ferraris or something. And then on the bottom part, there is something along the lines of here between the zero. So how we can do the same thing in Excel, and then how I will show you how to clean up the price, for example, data price column. So in Excel, if you do this, this is much more complicated, but maybe you have more control over it. So you would go insert chart. You would choose the chart type. It should be the histogram. Then you would need to select the appropriate data range. Okay, so how to do this? So select price. How can I add data range? Delete. Okay. Okay, cool. Here I have the same histogram. Then I need to go to customize. Then I need to go to histogram. Then I need to drop some outliners. Now I have the same output as that one, right? So already see that this is easier. I will look in a second in the comments. Maybe you have some good comments about what we have talked so far. Sorry for my cough. So you already see, and also there is like how many buckets. Like buckets mean these you know, the ranges from one price to another price, how many samples I have, right? So I can have 50 buckets, I can have less than 50. I can ask actually the same thing to the ChatGPT data processing. Okay, now it went wrong, but so I can do that. Here in this case, it will not be perfect, but I can maybe clean it up from 1,400 euros till, let's say, 37-40 euros. So what I can do here, I can ask drop rows, or these are the samples, right? Where price is below 133 and above, let's say 399, like that, 339,000, right? So, and this is actually the process you go through every time you prepare your data for research or for AI models. That's why I'm showing all of this, so you know. So okay, so then again I can say download CSV. I will again be able to get my Excel, right? I can actually ask the same prompt as previously, plot histogram. This time, because we already dropped the outliners, the name outliners means the data points, samples, which are out of the ordinary, right? So let's see, so plot histogram for price again. And again, I'm saying that at some moment, if I keep asking questions in the same chat, it might start not working as well. But now we see this looks much more believable. So you will definitely, for any kind of AI model, will always have limits. Like what is the minimal input value? What is the maximal input value? No AI model is perfect that it can take any range of data. So that's one. So this is the car prices. Let's I will look in a second also in your questions, but let's keep digging. So okay, let's plot. Well, let's push also how far we can push this session. What I mean by session, you see up here is a new chat, and then if I press new chat, I can just upload my latest CSV file and keep working on it. But the language models are not good at working with long sessions. If you keep asking things, at some moment it will break because there is the context window. We will talk about language models later. I'm just using it now as a great tool because using the same thing doing with the Excel, it is like really painful. Hopefully I can convince you that this is an easier way. So, and while we are doing this, I'm just showing all of these concepts, how to deal with data, not the actual tools exactly how to work with this. You can use ChatGPT, you can use Excel, you can use Python, you can use Power BI, any kind of platform you want. So we cleaned up the car prices. That's great. We actually, one interesting thing we can do, we can look how many samples we have left, because we need to track also how many samples we have dropped. So originally there were 90,000 samples. Now if we ask count rows, we will see how many rows we have. So we have 14,000. So almost half of the samples, or maybe less than half, have been dropped. So maybe that's not great situation. We should ask questions why our dataset is so dirty. But that's that. So let's keep digging. So let's use these plot histograms and keep looking at our dataset more. So now remember we cleaned up previously the previous column. So previous column was we go up levy. So actually don't, if somebody knows what in this case means levy, you know, for me any data, I recently worked with with the like biochemistry datasets or something like in regards to drinking water. So, and I don't know any of those sensor readings, what they physically mean, but I can make thing work. Basically, I can make that this AI system achieves the desired result, because really don't care what is the data. I know how the data needs to be cleaned up. So, and you also should think in that way when you look at data. So plot histogram, and of course, if you know the expert knowledge of what this column means, you will have greater advantage. You will be able to clean it better. So plot histogram for levy. Let's see what we get here. A column levy. Maybe I sometimes mess up my prompts, so sorry for that. Okay, so we again see that that this is not great. Okay, let's see. Not supported interactive charts, right? It'd be nice if there would be interactive charts. Okay, this will not be perfect, but we can do something. So drop rows where levy, where column levy values are below, let's say, I don't know, 50. We can actually ask to have better histogram. So edit plot histogram with again, let's do the same as previously. How did I wrote it previously when I dropped these drop outliners 10%? Yeah, so drop outliners 10%. I just want to do one thing, and then I will ask question in the chat, and we'll move further. Right, so okay, now we have something nicer. Actually, again, we could even ask, just like we can just write drop rows where levy, oh shop, I accidentally pressed enter, but I can go back. Where levy contains outliners 10%. We can just do that. That's even more easier than asking specific numbers. So, and it should probably work. At least I think it can be calculated into the Python code. Yep, and if I would now display the histogram, it would look like this. So, but my question here, if you've been following along what I was talking so far, is basically why do we have this large spike here? So, do any of you have idea why do we have this spike? So why do we have spike of in column levy for our dataset? If you've been following along what we are talking about here, you should be able to answer this question. Just wait a second, I will close window. Any ideas? No ideas? I will also read questions in a second. So. So let me check in a second if you answered something. I'm just looking for interesting chart which I want to show you. Nobody wants to answer me. That's sad. Okay, so maybe nobody knows the answer. So, if you look back what we just did. So this is what we did with GPT, but this is the same in the Excel. Remember, we added the average value here. So this spike actually is that average value. So that's why not always this is a great idea to add these missing rows with some kind of arbitrary value, because if I do that, then in those cases I might actually get worse results, because this is not great that I have now many samples with value of, let's say now this is something like, what was the value, 906. There are literally many samples of this value. So sometimes it is even better to just remove those columns. So it's you need to test out one way, other way, what are my results, which works better or worse, and so on. So that this is the answer to that question. I will also look in the chat. I saw there were some questions before. So, but I want to talk a little bit, show you about these ways how to fill up your dirty missing data points, and it also might be useful for other situations in life. So let's imagine that we have the distribution of the samples, right? Something like this. So, and this could be actually some kind of, let's say, what is this average salary for different types of jobs, for example, or social groups or anything like that. So, and then we just want to illustrate a couple of things. So first, there are at least 3 ways how to look at this data and say what is the kind of middle income level, for example. So if in this case what we have municipalities density, we could actually have, let's see, So let's imagine that this is actually the salary, and the other part is just like the I don't know, like population count, and yeah, so just a second, sorry, so this is the other way around, salary and population count. Yeah, but then of course the chart here is not perfect because it starts from 0. Of course, it's not like that everybody has 0, but there is like minimal salary, for example, here, minimal salary, and on the other end we have, like, let's say, I don't know, monthly like 10 million or something, like 1 million, like crazy salaries, right? Something like that. So we have situation like this, and this is the same idea as here, where we illustrate how to fill the gaps and also how to look at your data in general. So what you have, and hopefully you know, but usually students, not all students actually realize these details, but you need to know some of these details. So you have options to use either mean, or the mean means the average, okay? Mean value of what is the mean salary of everything, right, of all the population. You also can have the let's say the median or mode. So and how you would then look at this. So let's try to like draw some of these lines. So the average will most likely go somewhere basically along here, so along the middle part basically, so a little slightly to the, okay, I don't want to draw these lines, it's just last year I used different platform for visualizations, but they closed it, so now I need to use this one. So it will be slightly to the left, but not much. Okay, I don't like that it's not staying there. So this will be the mean value. So, and then what happens is that usually government is saying, okay, we have great situation in our economy, we have very high mean average salary, but in reality the most people have less salary than that. So basically, if you would look at median means we would count all of our bars, right? And then we would divide what is the middle count of our bars. So like just literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it means the middle bar is 5, fifth bar. So this would be then median value. So this would be more realistic basically. So it would say that more people have actually lower salaries. And this is like trick that usually politicians use. They say we have very good salaries, right? Because we're just using the mean value, and there is one guy making 1 million a month or 10 millions a month, right? So that's that. And then even more complicated situation is if we use mode. So mode is just the most common value in our data set, and then it will go really low. So that is something to keep in mind when you work with your data. You always need to choose which type of average you use. They're all kind of like averages, but they're calculated in a different way. And if you use this in Excel, this is also very easy. And again, you can use not only Excel. Nowadays, you can use the GPT, right? I just showed you how to do this. So I can, regards to the median, I could just write it here, median, see? And it would change to nice median value, like that. So it's really easy, but you need to know about these things. If you don't know how to define your problem, you cannot solve it. So that's that. So far we looked how to clean up data so far. But that's not enough. So let's keep digging in. Oh, right, I promised to answer some questions. So let's see what we have. Some questions. We have only a few questions. So some of us couldn't upload assignment. Right. So this is not interesting question, but of course, yeah, you can send me to email. I'm not sure why somebody, like many of you did upload this. If some didn't work this, you can send me to email, but please not send me, like, try to upload it for the next time. If everybody will start sending me emails, I will not be able to deal with this. Again, it would be nice to see some questions regarding the data processing itself rather than some technicalities. So that's that. So, okay, so let's keep digging. So first of all, okay, we now cleaned up the levy column. Okay. So the next one, the mileage. The mileage actually have this kilometer stuff happening here, right? So we need to get rid of that because this is something that when you look at your data, your business data, if you have some kind of inconsistent data where you have number and then string with it, this is something that will not work great for you. So again, either I can write some Excel formulas where can I try to remove this, or I can ask to reformat my data, the GPT. Basically, I can do the same thing, but it will be just way faster. So okay, I can see also here, where's my kilometers here, yeah. So remove kilometers, remove string kilometer from column mileage. Because if I would ask now to generate the histogram for mileage, it would just not work because it is not formatted as numbers. So mileage, okay, good. Hopefully it will work. Let's run it. I can read the code. If any of you can read the code, it's always advantage. So, ooh, it broke. Okay, but it seems to be working. Let's see. Did it work? If it didn't work, we can go back. Okay, but it did work. Initially, not sure what is this. This is warning, so it is nothing that serious. And if I close it, I even don't see it. So, but it did work, and I already see that there is again missing values, the 0. Maybe it's a totally new car, but I doubt it because the price is 4,000. So again, you need to use your own brain. You cannot just feed any data and think that this will work magically. So again, what we can do here is drop, and by the way, download your dataset often because all of this can just break easily. Download CSV. Okay, great. So then download CSV. Then yeah, remove. So the remove rows where column mileage value, or it's just actually remove the outliners. I can ask where the value is 0 or just the outliners. So remove rows where column mileage, remove outline 10% outliner rows, outliner rows for column mileage. Hopefully, maybe it's not great prompt, but still, it depends on what kind of code it will write. Quantile 90, so yeah, it will work. Okay, now it will remove those zeros and all sorts of useless things. So, but what I want to show you is another serious thing here. So yeah, so I have production year and I have the mileage as my inputs. Okay, so I can ask min and max, minimal and maximal value of production year, And again, if I would start asking many things, it will break, but just maybe fuse, it will work. Mileage. So, but I want to illustrate you the next thing here for your dataset preparation for research, business data, and so on. It's very important that your data is in the right scale. Basically, all of the features must be scaled. So if I go back here, and you're still at the first step, basically, I'm not sure how many steps we will be able to do. So the feature engineering step, we looked how to handling the dirty data. We are also looking at feature engineering here. So the next thing is actually called feature scaling. So let's see. We looked at outliners, noise reduction. Yeah, so these are some of the data scaling approaches. Let me type in those and show you what it is and why do you need this. This is also something very important before you visualize your data or use it for the AI models and so on. You can have min-max, standardization, all sorts of other scaling methods. But if you are like a human person, right? You understand that the range 1953 to 2020, this is very understandable for you. And the range for the car driven 0 kilometers and 260 kilometers, 1060 kilometers is also understandable. But the model, the AI models, this is very bad situation, because how to explain it better? The AI models usually use some nonlinearity. Basically, all of the features in the AI model must be like evenly distributed in the same range. If it's a completely different range, the outputs will be much worse than you could get them. Maybe we can also show very practical examples in a moment, but this is very important step when you look at your data. You need to like do the feature scaling. And what I mean by feature scaling is basically I could ask here, so prod value, so standardize, and let's visualize some things. So let's see, mileage, maybe it's easier to visualize. So plot histogram of mileage. And the more you clean up your data, the better result you will have with any kind of AI model, research, and so on. Towards the end of this session, we have less than 1 hour left. I will show you more interesting things you can do with your data regards to dimension reduction, which is really powerful thing, or also with the clustering. And next time we will look at really proper AI, first proper AI models, where we will look at the decision trees, random decision trees, and things like that. And then afterwards we will start looking at artificial neural networks, language models, image models, generative models, and so on. And I will show you a lot of tools also and methods how you can use this in your daily life. But this is something to keep in mind, that any AI system, is it something that you make yourself or something you order somebody else to do for you? You need to be very careful at your data. And also, please don't delete your data. Basically, the idea is that I have know some situations where people want, for example, some price prediction models or let's say some churn prediction models, and they just when they store client data in CRM, they fill the data only for the cases, business cases, where everything goes right. Like, this guy buys from me 10,000 units, I write stuff in and so on. But I don't write any stuff for all of the clients which I tried to reach out and did not want to buy from me anything. So at the end, the AI model is really bad, because I have only data for good cases and I don't have any data for bad cases. So for these AI models to work good, you need to cover as much as data points as you can. So that's why I always tell for any company, store all of the data you can. You even don't know in the future that some data you think are not useful, it might be useful. So that's that. So there is the plot of the histogram. And what I want to show you here is that, so now we have very different ranges. One is from thousands and other ones is from hundreds of thousands. What is normally need to be done is to scale these features. And what I mean by scale, you will see in a second. So scale, well, not scale, but standardize values, and I can actually give you the formula if you want, so it's not too difficult. Okay, for formulas, I think if somebody finds something better than Google image search, I will be very happy if somebody shares with AI tools, because I don't use the Google anymore, but the image search is still good. So standardization formula. Yeah, so this is the standardization formula. You subtract the mean value. Remember I talked about the mean value. Where was my mean value? So this is my mean value, and divide by the standard deviation. Standard deviation is the whole range of all of this distribution. So bear with me. Let's look what happened here. Standardized values of values for column. And actually I can ask ChatGPT here just exact formula which I want to use, but let's not do this now, because I believe the standardization formula is quite easy. So didn't write it correctly. I'll use mileage. Okay, let's see if it executes it right. For Excel, again, if somebody wants to do this in Excel, I can show you. It is not difficult, but again, manual work. So if I would like to do this in Excel, how you would do this? I would add a new column. So this will be standardized production year, for example, production year. Then I will just write the same formula which I just show you on the screen. I will write this one minus mean of this thing divided by standard deviation, STD, standard deviation of this thing. Okay, something is wrong here, but you get the point, hopefully. Standard deviation, yes, standard deviation. Probably it doesn't like that I include the product year on top of it, or maybe I'm missing some bracket. Should be like that. Don't like it. I don't know. Some kind of strange error. Normally, oh no, yeah. Okay, it doesn't know mean function. Okay, cool, average. So even here you need to know the right names. Okay, so yeah, so this is the mean. See, this is the standard deviation. So you already see that these numbers now are basically in different scale than this, but this scale will be for standard deviation. It will be from -3 to 3. So, and why exactly -3 to 3? If you look at Gaussian distribution, so it will make your data in this kind of distribution. So it's usually between 3 sigma, it's called, so -3 to 3. And if you standardize all of your columns, then all of your columns will be in this range. So it will be very nice to plot this on some scatter plot or some other plots, because then you will have everything on the same scale. If I would plot something on the plot where cars are in, let's say the years are in thousands and then the mileage is in the hundreds of thousands, I would not be able to plot it at all. So we'll see. Okay, so this is then the standardized version. Do I have it? Let's see. The mileage, yeah, you see here it's also standardized. And I can standardize, again, this is something I would definitely do one by one. I could standardize also the production year. And now, if I ask the same question before, mean and max values for these, they will be both in the same range. And this is very important, actually, for the model inputs. Yeah, so you will see that later. So again, year is a little bit skewed to one side, but they're basically very close. It is not, the difference is not anymore 100,000 difference. So then I can also do some interesting things, like for example, plot. So let's see. Let's try to plot scatter. In order, yeah, scatter plot, where X is the production year, Y, and I can do the same thing in Excel, but it will just take me so much more time. So hopefully you get the point here. So, and then color by, what is the color? So the model. Yeah, no, not the model, manufacturer. Manufacturer, like that. Okay, let's see. So now, after my standardization, I should have really nice plot. If I would try to do this without it, it would not be, especially if I start adding more and more features, it will be very difficult to track. So, especially, yeah, so this would be, except the manufacturer is not colored really nicely. Yeah, this is something that is not always controllable. Let's see, do I have code? Yeah, I don't like that it didn't make that category codes are, so the C map is not great. So let's see, let's try to edit my color manufacturer by manufacturer, distinct colors, maybe distinct colors by manufacturer. I'm not sure if this is the, again, the way how to do this correctly is actually not to write these prompts like a human being, but we'll get there. Just want to show you the idea. So this is all about cleaning data so far. Yeah, so now it is kind of better. It is hard to see, but the idea is that these cars like BMW, W, and so on, BMW, Audi, and so on, they have distinct colors for each of the car brand. It is only difficult to see them here. Yeah. But now, yeah, let's keep moving on here to this direction. How to make these diagrams, how to visualize what is the difference between our cars much better. So this could be also used for research. If I have, like, let's say surveys, and I want to group my people, group my participants in survey. So if I do this, it is very difficult. It still doesn't make much sense here. But if I want to do this correctly, I need to do a couple of things. So first of all, let's look at manufacturers itself. So the manufacturer column. So plot histogram of manufacturer column. So how many cars by brand I have here. Let's see. Okay, I have the most of the cars are Hyundai, then there is Toyota, and so on. This is maybe not the best way how to plot it. I can also plot it as the pie chart or some other chart. So plot pie chart of manufacturer. Any questions so on, please type in. No questions so far. Okay, right. So the Toyota, Hyundai, and then there's small cars. One thing we can already see if this would be some kind of business critical data. I would definitely not base my decisions on those brands which are really little here. We definitely need to use only cars which have significant presence in our dataset. There are, for all of the AI limits, there is always for all the AI models there are always limits. No model is perfect for everything. So here we can see that there's many instances of cars where they are even below 2% of the your whole dataset. So what we can do is drop rows where let's say where percentage of manufacturer percentage of manufacturer counts are below 2%. Not sure that this is the best way to write it. If it will not work, we'll rephrase it. Need to look at code a little bit. Okay, it seems about what might be. Okay, we can again plot this chart. Yeah, now it's much better. So this would be much cleaner dataset. Again, I would then download CSV and work with that. So then the next thing. So the remember I told you many times that the inputs of data needs to be normalized, needs to be cleaned up, needs to be filled with missing data points, needs to be dropped where it's not needed. But then what to do with these things? So we have categorical data, where we have manufacturers, where we have the model names and so on. The one thing to remember, the AI models, they are mathematical models. They don't read data in human text format. The language models actually translate the human text format into this numerical format. But in like 99% of the cases where you use it in real life, it needs to be converted in some kind of numerical format. And this is also very important for visualization, and you will see in a moment. So what I mean by that is the model needs to have some kind of representation. So if I have something like this, and maybe I can even explore it a little bit more. So this would be then my cleaned up data set, but I cannot use it for AI models or business decisions or for like analytics in my research and so on. I need to somehow convert my categories. Like these are the car brand names, but it could be any kind of category. Like for example, sales in some groceries, in the clothing, in sportswear, and so on. So how to convert it into the numerical format? So this would be the case where I need to the encoding techniques for the categorical data. This is not acceptable for AI models. What is acceptable? So you will see how the end result of our dataset will look like, what is the perfect dataset for the models. And this is something you together with data scientists or the data scientists themselves need to create in order for your business decisions to be correctly based. So here we cannot use these as in our calculations, but what we can do, we can convert them in some kind of numerical format. What I mean by that is, let's say we have Hyundai. Let's use some, okay, let's see Hyundai. So Hyundai we can replace by 0, then Toyota we can replace by number 1, right? We can give the numbers, indexes for each of the cars, okay? So then the Mercedes would be 2, and let's say Chevrolet will be 3, and so on. You do that, right? So this is definitely one way how to do this. So this will allow us to start working with numbers and actually make decisions on numbers, but this is definitely not the best way. So why it's not the best way? Because any human can change the order here. So nobody tells me that I cannot switch them around. Like Chevrolet goes first, the Hyundai goes last. And what actually now happened is that Hyundai is 3 times better than Toyota, and it doesn't make sense at all, because you see, like, the distance between these two things is like 3 minus 1 is 2, and then here 2 minus 0 is 2, right? And here 3 minus 0 is 3. So just only by changing the order, I'm numerically, if I plot this on the plot, I will try to, you know, order them into some kind of order. So it will say that one car is better than other in the terms of the AI models. So this is definitely not a good way how to do this, and normally nobody actually do it in that way. So the best way how to do this is to work with different formats. So one format is one hot encoding. And this is the same true for your research data. Even for your research data, you also need to clean it up in this format. Some tools like SAP, right, or what else, MATLAB or some things like that. So they usually have built-in categorical conversions, but this is what's happening under the hood, and you will see in a second why this is also quite cool for your data. So what the best way would be, not the best way, but better way would be to create these vector formats. And in the vector formats, we will create, so you can think of this as like columns in your dataset, columns for each of the cars. So there will be column Chevrolet. Maybe it's easier to see even here. Let me show you here the idea. Hopefully you will get it. So insert left, not here, but insert right. Hopefully, yeah. So insert right. Insert right. So let's write it here. So there will be, we will delete this column and replace it with multiple other columns. And I will have Lexus column here. I would have Chevrolet column here. I would have Ford column here, and so on. And what I would do here, I would write here 0 if it's not that brand, and 1 if it is. So like, for example, this is 1, this is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, right? Hopefully you follow along the idea that every time when I have the right category, I would give this as 1. Every time it's not the same category, I give it a 0. So here it's 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, until I find next Chevrolet. Ford, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and so on. So the great thing about this format, and it's called one hot encoding, the great thing is that this line of numbers, it is actually a vector. So let me show you, and it has some mathematical properties which are very beneficial for your data, basically. So like this, and it's also very beneficial for visualization, you will see in a moment. So basically the line of numbers which are created in this way, right? So in this case it will be, let's say Chevrolet will go from, let's say this will be the first one, 0, 0, 0 something, right? And then the next one is we'll go here, for example, and then the next one will go here, for example. The order in which column I give this one, I don't really care. It just need to be sure that it was always given to the same column. So, and then if I again see any Toyota, so this will be, let's say, Toyota first car, and then at some other row I have Toyota second car, I will have exactly the same configuration for these vectors. So like series of numbers. So here, let me describe these things a little bit. So see, this one is the same as this one because they are same brand, right? And what happens here, if I visualize this, of course there are many dimensions now because we have not just two car brands, but we have many car brands. But at the same time, if I plot it in either it's in a many dimensional space or two-dimensional space, if it would just have two types of cars, it would be two-dimensional. Then in that case, it is always like, let's say here is the Toyota cars, here are the Hyundai cars. So let me think, okay, not like that. Here is the Toyota, here's the Hyundai, here is the Mercedes, for example. Here is the Chevrolet. Of course, I know this is -1, but the idea is the same. So, and the distance between any of these cars, it's always 2. So if you calculate what is the distance between any of these two vectors, it will always be the same distance. It doesn't matter, like if you put one car before the other car, it doesn't matter in what order you make these columns, it will always be the same distance. So this is very powerful way how to process data. And why this is powerful way to process data? Because now we can feed the categorical data into AI models, into visualization, into many types of processes. The same thing also goes about, we can even have even more interesting representations of the data. We will talk about those later, but basically these are called embeddings as well. And these are also called vectors, and these are also called in Latvian jēdzienu vektori iegūtnes. So, okay, so let's look at why this is important and how, if I just clean it up in this way, how I can use it. Okay, so this is my existing data set. I have many categorical columns here which are not yet cleaned up. Okay, let's do quick stuff here. So I will download CSV. I just don't want to make this lecture forever, so I will not convert every single column into the format that I need. So I will do some of the things are still faster to do with Excel, I admit that, but many things are easier to do with the help of the ChatGPT or similar type of models. Oh, I actually like that you asked me some other question in the chat. I will look at that in a second. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing here with my Excel. So this is the Excel. Okay, so this is my cleaned up data set so far. Not everything is cleaned up yet. Many things are not. So my quick solution is just to delete everything that is not yet cleaned up. So it is definitely not the best way. If you do that, your data, your end results will not be as good as it might be. So I will just select all of these things and delete categorical columns, because I can actually convert one by one all of these columns, but it will take a long time. So delete, and I want to show you the dimension reduction and the clustering options. If we will not have enough time to do the clustering options today, which are very powerful way how to visualize data, then I will show you that next time. So save. So I'm now saving my new data set. Okay, it's now much cleaner, but much smaller. The best way would be also to standardize these things, and now I want to focus on changing this manufacturer column into one hot encoding. So let's see how we can do this. So in this case, if I'm now did something with Excel, I definitely would start a new chat. So now I will drop in. Okay, so let's see if I can do this with the ChatGPT. So Okay, so what is the name of that column? Manufacturer. I don't want to write it wrongly. So convert column manufacturer into one hot and coded columns. We'll see if that works. I believe it should. It's actually quite hard to break GPT for data processing tasks. I have tried. So you already see what it does. See, it creates lots of columns with each of the brands and gives it zeros and ones, okay? So, and now, at this moment, if you would do the same for all of the categorical data, now every piece in your dataset is usable. Like some of them must be standardized. By the way, it can be also min-max standard, like normalization. It can be from -1 to 1. It just, everything needs to be in the same range and so on. So, but now at this moment, all of my data is actually numbers, so which is great. So I can do some interesting things with this. If some of the data are strings, then they are not usable for data processing. So this is one hot encoding, very powerful tool. And why it's powerful? As soon as I can do that, I can do the dimension reduction, and I can maybe show you what it is and explain a little bit more. I actually see some questions, which is great. Hopefully those questions are not about uploading homeworks. So let me show you some examples. So what is dimension reduction? I want to show you one visual example. Hopefully it will help you to understand this better. Okay, it's good. Let me see. Just want to have you one small visualization. Okay, this will be, I think, okay. Okay, so let me share you that. Okay, so what about the data visualization and dimension reduction? So now, what I mean by dimensions, we have many columns. In this case, let's see. So I can ask actually how many. So the column count. It is even not possible to visualize what we have there. Like, you literally have 19 columns now, right now. Not sure about that. All of them are. Maybe it's about one hot encoded columns, but let's say all column count, total column count, total. Let's see the code. Yeah, it's the shape. Yeah, so 19. So 19 dimensions. If we would have, what I mean 19 dimensions, if I would have just price and production year, just these two columns, it would be two-dimensional data, and then I can easily plot it using the scatter plot. But if I have 19 dimensions, 19 input features, and in the business cases and in the surveys and many cases, that's the case. We have really high dimensional data, and it is very hard to visualize it. And how to visualize it? It is, so this part, visualization. Actually, let me, do I have it somewhere? Yeah, so this would be the dimension reduction part, and some of the methods that we can use are these. And what it is that we can basically look at this as a projection. So imagine if we have three-dimensional object like cylinder, right? So this is our three-dimensional cylinder, and if the light is projected from that side, I can project it as a circle to the two-dimensional space. So if you follow along what I'm saying here, this is the true three-dimensional object, like three columns. Okay, I have 3-column data set, and I can project my 3-column data set into the 2 dimensions just by changing the way how I project it. And these are actually like these methods. These are like these light sources, so to say. Like all of them have different properties. Like for example, LDA, that is linear projection. Linear PCA, also linear. What means linear is that if, so let me show you one more example. So actually I have it in notes somewhere. Let me find it. We will look at these things later again. I think this part will be really interesting. At least I like it. Hopefully you will also like it. It's very useful for research and for data visualization. So let me show you. So for example, if I have 3-dimensional data on the right side, and if this 3-dimensional data, when I plot it down, basically falls in this way, it is very hard to separate it, right, with a linear projection. What means linear? Means just like plane or plakne or just line, right? It needs to be somehow distorted, and this distortion, so imagine this one, it's very hard to separate. With this one, it's very easy to separate. I just draw the line in 3 dimensions, and now I have the cheap cars and expensive cars, for example. Here, to separate, I need to draw some kind of strange shape, very difficult. So this can, like basically, actually I can show you the best way how to separate. So in this case, the linear projections will always be, oh right, the linear projections always will do something like this. Basically, it will never give you a good result, and here it will be good result. And why this is, okay, again, I really don't like that this program don't allow me to do this properly. So, and this process of pulling out your data in extra dimension, this is achieved only by non-linear methods. And non-linear methods here in this case, maybe I can color code them. So non-linear are this one, this one, this one. So, and then you can achieve this thing. If you use linear methods, you can only do this kind of separation, and you will see in a second what I mean by this. So just for you to know, the linear methods are actually better. So the linear methods will give you closer visualization to reality. So if it's super noisy, then it is super noisy. But if you have high dimensional data, you have no options actually. So this is what we're trying to do. We are having these 19 columns, and we want to project them into human terms. And human terms are just 3-dimensional and 2-dimensional plots. Humans are not good of understanding 4-dimensional plots. So 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional plots. And these are your tools. These are your methods. And you can very easily work with them. And if you would do this in Excel, it would take you forever. If you do this in ChatGPT, and all of your data is in numerical format, you can do it very quickly, and you can discover great things in your data. So how to do this? So let's try to do this. Plot data in, let's say, we can try 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, 2 dimensions using kernel PCA. Hopefully it will be good. And then we can start doing really interesting things, which you will see in a second, which helps you to understand your data. And this comes very close to the clustering. Clustering part will also be really interesting. So here it writes the code. Those of you coming from the IT background, this is very useful. You can learn how to do this mathematically, and nobody will judge you for that. You can just experiment with the code. But those of you who don't know how to write this, this is also very useful because you can actually plot your data. By the way, maybe I will break it now because I actually have very large data set. I didn't ask how many rows I have here, but if your data set is million of rows, then of course ChatGPT will time out. It will say this is too long data set and it will not give me the visualization. So but there are tools how to do this also without ChatGPT, and we can talk about them later. So hopefully it will work. While it's doing the job, let me look at the questions. So wouldn't it be better for accuracy to categorize brands under two as others? How to do with GPT? Yeah, that is one way. Thank you for thinking along what we are doing here. We definitely can create these like how you call, so these would be either like lightning rods for models or just like fillers for models, right? You can have these basically classes which combine other classes, and sometimes it actually helps. So this is not always the case, but so basically you can look at different ways. For example, if you have a model where you definitely need to predict something for those underrepresented classes, you can definitely combine them and call it other class, right? And have it as a specific one hot encoded index. Or you can just limit your inputs. You will say that this model will not work for the cars under 2% of the data set. And that's it. That's your limitation. Basically, otherwise you can have model which is not working great. So let's see if my experiment worked. Okay, it seems that it will take too long to generate. So just so my hack here, let's try to hack it a little bit. So let's drop it to just 5,000 columns because I want to show you the idea, and then you can go and explore it more, and you will, especially for your research, for your business decisions and so on. So so let's write, so leave in table only first 1,000 columns, and I'm doing this now just because we don't have much time, and I meant 1,000 rows, and it's great that we can always go back. So rows, I think because of the time limitations today, we will not go into the clustering techniques, and it's actually great because next time we will combine clustering with decision trees, and this will be makes much more sense. So now if we if we just leave the first 1,000 rows, it should work faster. So if I plot 2D, and we can try a linear PCA as well, this will work also faster. Okay, re-upload file, great, it doesn't work, but okay, it doesn't, no worries, we can fix this. So don't download CSV. Hopefully it will now leave only 1,000 rows. Right, it crashed. That's why I'm saying always need to download many times the file. So what I will do, let me see, do I have it? Yeah, I have full setting here. So what I will do, I will just drop some of the columns here. So sorry for noises a little bit. We'll end very soon. I just want to show you these amazing capabilities which you can do with these dimension reduction methods. And there's many more things which we didn't have yet time to discuss. We'll discuss them next time. And then we will, as I said, we will go to more tools which are not just preparing your tabular data, but also working with other formats of data. So let's delete these columns. Okay, cool. Hopefully they are now deleted. Now if I save this thing, And now if I start a new session in the ChatGPT, it's always good idea to start all the time new session when it's possible. So plot linear PCA. You'll see if it does with 1000 columns, it should work. Sometimes it also depends on how oh no, this is not my file. Okay, just a second. This is the file with all of these manufacturers, whatever. Just a second, I will fix this. I need a little bit of moment. Just a second. We'll fix this. So how to fix this? I will go back to the previous session I had. I know I have a black screen now. I just need to get my file from previous session, and then I will show you these last things. So what is in that file? Okay, let's just create that one hot encoding again. So this will be the last thing I want to show you today, and this is really powerful. So okay, so let's try to run hot encoding again. So replace column manufacturer with one hot and coded columns. Okay, and then I will definitely download CSV so I don't get this problem again. So yeah, so now I have these nice columns. Download as CSV. And finally, plot using linear PCA. Okay, great. Now we're starting seeing something. So this is the plot. One thing to notice, this is like this shadow. So the X and Y axis actually doesn't represent any of the 19 columns. They are arbitrary columns. And what we can get out of this chart is actually the similarity between our cars. And we will start seeing groups of cars, and you can do the same also for the surveys, for your business data and so on. So let me try another method. So TSNA. So this is the highly non-linear method, iterative method. Hopefully this will work. Let me share that one, and I want to show you one more thing, and then we'll end. So the only problem with ChatGPT here is that these things take time to generate. If I would just copy that code, and this is advantage for IT students, if I copy this code in Python, then I will immediately get the results. With the online version, it might not always work because it takes a little bit of time, and then if it takes too much of the time, it just times out and you don't get results. But next time I will show you other tools how to do this, not only using the ChatGPT. Maybe I can also, because of our time constraints, to show you some examples. So how TSNE data look like, and this is exactly how your data will look like if you follow my steps here. So you will look something like this. For example, you will get that for example, the BMW cars, or let's say Toyota or Hyundai cars are, let's say, in the green color. The let's say Mercedes is another color, and so on. And you can color these plots by any kind of parameter. For example, the cars above 1,000 euros, the cars below 1,000 euros. And as soon as you start doing these things, you can start seeing the patterns in your data. You suddenly can discover that this group of cars are maybe somehow related. Maybe they are second-hand cars, or maybe this group of your products that you sell in your web store is like similar. For example, there might be this part might contain or maybe let's say these two things. So these are, let's say, shampoos, and these are maybe toothbrushes, and you might discover that people who buy shampoos also buy toothbrushes or things like that, and you would not be able to discover this if you don't process your data correctly, basically. So you see it says operation took too long to complete, so let's leave it at that. So I gave you one example here. Maybe I can just make it visually better. Let's try again. So using PCA, color by what we can color it by, so price below 10,000 and above 10,000. We can also ask, like, you know, red color or green color, whatever. So hopefully it will work. The PCA is actually not that complicated algorithm, but this is the output you get from this process. And next time I'll give you other tool that you can use, not only ChatGPT. Of course, the Excel is also option, but this is extremely difficult to do this with Excel. So here you see, maybe this is because this PCA is not the best way how to cluster your data, but you can see that there's like some cluster here with the orange cars and the yellow cars. But when you process all of your columns, but remember that I just processed the brand. But if I would process also the model, the engine type, the everything, then I would end up with this kind of result. And let's try to make sure that next time we see this kind of result, and also we can cluster it. We can even discover automatically what are our clusters in our data points. So hopefully this is something that is interesting to you. We lost a couple of people along the way today. As I say, we'll try to make it more practical. Again, hopefully you see how valuable is ChatGPT already. And yeah, let's meet you next time. I will give you the time and date when we meet, because again, I will probably not yet be back in Latvia, and my health is also not yet great. So, but when we are the person, or yeah, I'm not sure will we be in the person, but then I will help more. So this time we looked at data processing, visualization, dimension reduction, cleaning up your data, and next time we'll look at the clustering, decision trees, and things like that. Okay, thank you very much for joining, and see you next time. Bye bye.